Welcome to Finding Your Balance, a mental health podcast. My name is Tiffani Fritzsche. I'm a licensed mental health counselor. I'm joined here with my friend Kirk Fasshauer,
Hello.
licensed clinical social worker. If you are joining us for the first time, welcome. Today we have a very special guest, Kelsey Thomas. In addition to being a licensed clinical social worker, she is the Director of Counseling and Wellness at Southeastern University in Lakeland, Florida. Kelsey, thank you for joining us today.
Yes, thank you for having me. It's an honor.
So, we've talked in previous podcasts about the transition of adolescence to adulthood, especially for college kids. And I thought you might have a unique perspective on just the types of things that kids go through as they're coming to college campuses for the first time.
Yeah, it's huge. It's actually probably one of the first for most people big transitions in life, right? College, then often it's marriage and then parenthood, right? Those are kind of the huge transitions. And so we see lots of students from all walks of life, from all places, and it's not always an easy peasy transition. So we see lots of things from like as simple as doing laundry for the very first time in their lives to like, how do I time manage? And that can be really difficult for students when they don't have, mom or dad reminding them that they need to get their homework done, right? Or that they need to set an alarm earlier. So some students do well, some students struggle for a little bit, and then some students, they need some assistance. And so that's why where kind of our department steps in.
I remember Kirk and I have talked previously just our own personal experiences, and I'm remembering now, I didn't mention this in the last episode, but I think one of the things for me was during the semester, my glasses broke, which is such a silly thing, and I thought to myself, I've never scheduled a doctor's appointment.
Yeah.
I've never found my own provider, and so I literally had to look on the internet and figure out, where do I go? And that sounds like a simple task. It's not always a simple task.
No, it's not at all. And we see a lot of students, right? We're located here in Lakeland, Florida, but tons of our students are coming from out of state, right? So they, don't have parents or support systems to kind of direct them, but then they're having to navigate these new things, right? Like find a doctor or a specialist or a psychiatrist or an outside therapist, and they're met with, we don't take your insurance. And then it's like, where do I go from there?
Right?
Yeah. And so navigating that can be extremely difficult. And even just like finding support to help that is difficult. So that's why we do lots of outreach on our campus with students of like, hey, this is going to be hard. We have people here who know how to do this and educate you.
Do you do like freshman meet and greets or things like this to learn about these services, or how does a freshman know that you're available, your department is available to them?
Yes. So we've done a lot of work over the last 3 years of like promoting ourselves.
Okay.
A ton. So every like freshman class I can get into, I go and speak about health services and what we offer students. They have a whole welcome week event, and there's parent panels when parents are dropping their kids off, and resources are given there. We have student leadership is a huge thing at Southeastern, really developing leaders. And so they start with students, and so every year they come in a few days before like the general population, and we have mental health trainings and like how they can then refer resources to students they engage with. So lots of word of mouth.
Good. Nice. But what are some of the typical things you see from students when they come to you? What is like the number one concern they have?
Yeah, a lot of what we see is that adjustment disorder, right? Their first time away from home, now experiencing some anxiety, even some depression, and they're like, where is this coming from, right? This is all new. Those things kind of tend to fade away as you get, connected and build skills. But to be honest with you, the past few years, we've seen a lot of students who, due to the transition, they're just now recognizing that they've been living in fight or flight, and they've had some serious trauma in their past. And you don't think that you're going to experience that sometimes until you get away from home.
Right, because I find that the trauma that's unaddressed and you've kind of learned to live with it and then all of a sudden this major change, this major shift in somebody's life happens, and then boom, there it is.
Yeah.
Where did this come from? And you just have to sit with somebody to
or they
that out.
meet new people, right, from a different town, from a different socioeconomic, racial background, and they're like, wait, that's not normal behavior, or that's not what everyone's experienced. And that can be, while it's like brilliant and beautiful to discover those things, it can also be really difficult and really scary for someone who's called an adult but is 18 years old.
Right.
You know, so that's kind of where we really like to step in, and we are a short-term model. So I don't know if you're familiar with how our program works, but in the counseling center, we're short-term solution focused. So all traditional undergraduate students receive up to 6 free sessions per semester with either a licensed therapist or a supervised graduated intern. And we do a lot of like coping skills, like how can we get you to the place where you're able to function well in a healthy way in this environment. But then we do a lot of referrals, like outsourcing a lot to you guys, actually. And it's been so helpful because we do run into that problem this year in particular with like students just can't afford services. Yeah. And so they need something more intense, more regulated and regular, but they either don't have insurance, they have out-of-state Medicaid, or some students, not all of them, but some students, their families aren't very supportive in that journey. And so that's where Peace River has been like such a blessing to us to step in and like help those students who it's like they don't have those financial resources, but they need something more in depth, and they're turned away everywhere else.
Oh,
yeah.
That's unfortunate because it takes we've talked about this in previous podcasts about, you know, what is it like for somebody to come to that first session? And we got into all the stigma, the stereotype, all that goes behind, just all that courage it takes just to get to that first session.
Yep.
And then to be, in some cases, met with, well, we got to do all this administrative stuff first, but I'm here to talk about this emotional pain I'm going through. Yeah, but we got to check about insurance. We got to check about this. We got to check about. I'm like, oh. And then they leave kind of feeling a little deflated because that's not what they expected to get out of that first session. But yeah, it takes a lot of courage for folks to just even walk in our doors lots of time and ask for that help.
Yeah, absolutely. And we try to do things like outreach on campus as well to where students are like, okay, these are not scary people, right? Like I already feel connected to them a little bit. Yeah. And it's a cool context we're in because it's such a small knit community that while we're, therapeutic providers, we also encounter them all the time. Like in the cafeteria, right? Walking down El Prado, like it is a close community. And so if they already know who we are, they're a lot more likely to be like, okay, I kind of like trust this person.
I see them a lot.
They're like, oh, I know who Kelsey is.
Yes, exactly.
Like I've seen her around. I've heard her speak in a class. I've heard her speak, at a chapel or whatnot. And so we do monthly events called On the Lawn events. And so we're located in a really nice area of campus, right in between 2 dorms. And there's a beautiful lawn. And so once a month we come out, we set up tents, and we do tons of food. My wellness coordinator, she's like,
food brings people together.
Yes, she gets those donations. She's like, listen, who's going to help? And so
good.
She is. So we have food, and then we always have some sort of wellness activity. So even if it's just like we open up like canvas painting or like gratitude letters, we've done that a lot before. They can write back to someone they're thankful, and we'll mail it out. And things like that. And all my staff works that whole event. So then as students come up, they're like, oh, you're one of the counselors? And we're like, yes, like here's how you can get engaged. So we've seen that be really helpful too.
Nice. Have you seen people become more comfortable over the years with reaching out for help? Because many years ago the stigma is huge. Yeah. But I'm finding in the various talks and areas I go to that people are more open about it, which is great. it has a good and bad effect. It's like,
Yeah.
great, we're having this conversation. Not so great if you're thinking you have everything.
Yes.
I do all of this. Am I crazy?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So we have seen a lot more engagement, and I think we've overcome a lot of stigmas that just like socially the helping
Nice.
profession has had to overcome, but especially in like within the Christian context, because we are a Christian school. Unfortunately, that stigma for like mental health care and just mental health in general, mental illness, has been like even more of a barrier to overcome.
Really? Okay.
Yes, but we have seen a shift and a trend, and I think that like it's a result of giving like quality care.
Okay.
If a lot of people, all their experience is someone who is providing counseling that probably shouldn't have been,
Yeah.
right? When I first came on staff, I had a lot of students who were like, oh, like the counseling center, like I need a therapist. Like the counseling center isn't real counseling.
Right,
And I was
exactly.
like,
Yes.
wait. Yes, we are. Like this is actually what we're staffed with. And a
Right.
lot of students were like, oh, okay, well, I'll come to you.
Yeah, same. My experience has been the same when we've made referrals to the counseling centers. Well, no, I want a real therapist. They are real therapists.
Yes.
I mean, you may get a registered intern, but they're still trained. They're advancing their careers, but you could get that at a community mental health center.
Yeah. Yep. So I think it's verbiage, it's past experience, and it's just, part of the job. But I think we've done a really good job overcoming some of those barriers to entry.
Nice. Good.
Kelsey, what are some things that you have found that help strengthen that resilience for students while they're on campus?
Honestly, getting connected with community. You don't think like it's going to be difficult to make friends when you have a lot of friends at home that you've grown up with since you were 4 or 5 years old. And then you get in a new context and it's like, okay, I'm feeling very uncomfortable.
Right.
Right? Like, I don't know how to ask someone to come to dinner with me, right? I usually eat with my family,
Yeah.
And Southeastern has lots of ways to get connected in those specific, contexts. So whether it's a friend to eat a meal with, a community group to get involved with, right? Like house groups, going to chapel. Like we encourage students. The week after ad drop is usually like Club Rush. Is what they call it. So out on El Prado, which is like the main strip, student clubs will set up and like promote. And I'm like, listen, guys, all my caseload, I'm like, listen, we're going to Club Rush. Like if you have an interest, like this is where you get involved. And typically when students do step out of their comfort zone to get involved in a group, they have a much easier time. I don't see them for years.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, if you ascribe to Maslow's hierarchy of needs,
Right.
That's one of the primary needs is belonging.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, it's cool. And the university also has like peer mentorship as well. So students who they just can't take that step to get connected, or they've tried and it's been unsuccessful. There's like a lot of students on campus who want to step in there and be a friend for someone who feels like they don't have. And that's a really beautiful thing about our community.
Nice.
Like there are students who are like, I want to be your friend, right? You just haven't found me yet.
Right.
And so we have peer mentoring as well for students who find it particularly difficult.
Nice. And do the peer mentors help like with some studies as well? Because, like the old tutor.
Yeah. Yeah, they're aware of like all the resources on campus. They're like mini social workers.
Right.
I love
Right?
it.
They're like, okay, this is what's going on. Look, we can get you connected here and I'm going to go with you. Right? I'm not just going to tell you, hey, make sure you go to ACE twice a week. Like maybe let's meet there on Tuesday or whatnot. So
Nice.
It's so important to have that sense of connection and just knowing that you matter to somebody. What about over the holidays? Do you have a lot of students who stay on campus, or do most of the students go home? I'm sure some live internationally, or they're far away and they just can't make that happen.
Yeah. So Thanksgiving break, which we're coming up on next week,
Right.
The dorms are open. So students have the opportunity to stay here on campus. But over Christmas break, dorms close. There are, certain circumstances in which, like, say, a student doesn't have anywhere to go, right? They can pay a small fee and stay on campus. But we try to stay away from that because it is really lonely. It's a long time. Like most people aren't even in their offices.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So when students leave for home, that can be really exciting or it can be really, really difficult. And so just like you guys, I'm sure in community mental health, you see those kind of like upticks and like, I can't cope, right? I'm having crisis, right before someone's about to go home. Yep. And so we experience a lot of that. Southeastern partners with something called Timely Care.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys have heard of it.
No, I have not.
So they only partner with universities, but it's an online mental health platform. So all of our students, as the traditional students on campus, right, can receive in person. But we actually have thousands of students who never even come to Lakeland of Southeastern. They're at extension sites or they're online or they're grad programs or whatnot. And so they all have access to something called Timely Care, in which the university pays for them to have 6 sessions per year with a licensed therapist and unlimited Talk Now resources. So those are the times where it's like, it's 3:00 in the morning, like I just experienced this. I don't have anyone to talk to, right? Or I don't feel comfortable talking to anyone. I'm going to give this person a call and they'll get connected with a master's level clinician within like 7 minutes, I think is the average wait time.
Wow.
That is
good. And their counseling session, the turnaround is like 48 hours, which is huge. Like you can't get an appointment anywhere.
No, not usually.
And so some students don't prefer that method, and that's okay. They want the face-to-face, but it's a great resource. They actually can use it all year round. So they get access to that over summer breaks, Christmas breaks, all 50 states, and a lot of international locations as well.
Oh, very nice.
Wow.
Very nice service.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What about for the parents who have college students that are like coming home for the holidays? How can you support your kid when they're not really a kid anymore and they've developed this new autonomy and identity? And those are some really blurry lines whenever you're trying to figure out, well, what does this family look like now?
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's not just a change for the student who comes away to college. It's a change for the entire family system, right? So they've spent, 16 weeks being like, I can do whatever I want, right? Within hopefully some boundaries. But then they go back home, right? And sometimes parents are like, well, you need to tell me where you're going. You need to tell me who you're hanging out with. You need to do the dishes. Yeah, right. And that's very jarring sometimes. And so I think for parents, just like, one, like you're still the parent, right? So like you have the authority to expect certain things from your child. Even my mom, I'm a grown woman with a child. And if my mom asks me to do something, I'm like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, I will, right? You're my mom. So like there's a part of it there, but then there's also a part of like our kids growing up that we have to recognize, like these this autonomy and like your child trying to set a boundary is actually a good thing. It's not a threat to you. Right. And so we see that all the time. I'm like, okay, where are we going to set up boundaries, right, within the family? And students are like, I can't do that with my mom or with my dad or with my grandma because I know how they'll react. Like they won't take that well if I say, please don't say those things to me.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and you're right. This is an opportunity for the whole family dynamic to kind of grow because the parents have done their job. And if they've done their job well, you're going to have those discussions. There's going to be some push about boundaries, and I'm going to set some of my own boundaries as an adult. And it is jarring. It is as a parent, you're like, oh wait, I've got to let this go and be okay with it.
Yeah.
Because I've done my job to this point. Fly, be free.
Yeah. Yeah. So we work a lot with, at least in our setting, like, okay, what actually is a boundary, right? There's a huge disconnect there culturally now. Like, oh, you upset me, you no longer can talk to me ever again. And I'm like, so that's not a boundary. Right. And then also a lot of like communication skills. Like, how do we interact with our parents as adults now? Showing them respect and love and empathy because this is also a difficult season for them. Right. I have a 2-year-old and I'm like, she's not going to want to cuddle with me one day. I can't like grab her and make her cuddle with me one day. Right. Like those are not only difficult for the child, that's hard for moms and dads. And so like, how do we communicate with our parents with love, while also recognizing that, like, there were some things maybe in my childhood that hurt me, and I'm trying to heal from that now, and it's now my responsibility to determine what is said to me, right? What I accept in my life.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Cool. Well, great, Kelsey. Thank you for sharing a lot of those insights with us.
Yeah.
It will be beneficial for anybody who's listening on our podcast. And if you're not going to Southeastern University, you can look at these kinds of services on your campus. They're out there, they're available. And really, if you're just getting on campus as a freshman, look for these meet and greets and things like that. Don't, sometimes they've got silly names to them. And it's like, oh, that's not me. But overcome the silly name, get out there and kind of make that connection so that, and you may find out maybe this isn't for me, which is okay. You already know something about yourself, right? This isn't necessarily for me, but finding those other connections, joining the clubs, joining a fraternity or sorority and things like that you might find of interest. So appreciate you being here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys.
Thanks.